Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is SwagMountain with some more gameplay from the Battlefield 1 Squads event out here in Gamescom. In particular, footage of all of the loadouts. I was really happy to see more equipment and a couple of new weapons for us to use, but the variations that they had for the vehicles were amazing as well. We only played 4 games, so I didn't get gameplay for all of them, but we did do some practice rounds and I spoke with some of the other guys, so I can speak to at least some of this. To start, the Assault got some more power for taking out vehicles, but it wasn't really that effective. If you saw my previous gameplay in the Howitzer tank, anybody in a tank was pretty much unstoppable if you knew what you were doing. The new equipment was very, very close range. The dynamite you could hardly throw, and you triggered it similar to C4. It also didn't apparently stick to its target, so people could just drive away from it. They also got mines, which performed very similar to previous Battlefields. Place them down, hope somebody drives over them. Compared to the alpha to now, something else I liked was they actually made the names of the weapons a little bit more understandable for what their loadouts were. And we still couldn't modify or customize the weapons. More specific to the medic here, he got a brand new weapon, giving now 4 options, plus 3 new equipment similar to previous Battlefield healers. In this case, having a grenade launcher for smokes, frags, and even anti-vehicle rounds, at least for light vehicles. Support also got a new weapon, the MG15, which we saw in a few trailers leading up to this event. For equipment though, he only got new trip mines. This made a gas and fire variation, but to me, why wouldn't you just want to blow them up and kill them immediately? It could have a larger effect, but in terms of the other options, I didn't give it a try. The Scout got a new sniper as well. The flare gun can now be used for flashing instead of just spotting, and a spotting scope, which apparently works similar to that of binoculars, but when you spot people with it, it highlights them in red. Besides just seeing all of those new attachments, weapons, we also got variations with different packages for vehicles. For the attack plane, we saw the new Tank Hunter, which we saw briefly in the trailer, where the primary becomes this one large missile, slow reload, but does huge damage against vehicles. There is also the Airship Buster, which based on the description seems to be meant for taking out Zeppelins. Both of these new 2 variations also, though, their secondary bombs became 2 large ones, similar to the bomber's primary, rather than being the 8 small secondary bombs. The bomber got a new fire variation to it, as well as a torpedo one, which we just saw very briefly at the end of the last Gamescom trailer you saw me break down. I don't know if anybody even tried it, but on a desert, probably not that effective to use. And finally, the solo-flown fighter pilot got the variation Bomber Killer, which had 6 missiles that you would shoot out in front of you. They had to deal with bullet drop. It also had a relatively slow reload time from what I noticed. And the Trench Fighter, which apparently has bombs to drop, plus a flare to help tag enemies. For the cavalry, there was only one option. A primary that was essentially the lever action sniper rifle, and a secondary being your saber, or your sword. He also had the ability to resupply both ammo and health packs, dropping them both off the horse. Finally, for the tanks, we saw a new artillery truck, which I only briefly got to use before getting killed. It has a primary machine gun off the front and a secondary that you can swap to. You can no longer drive while you're in it, but it shoots these long-range missiles that were pretty difficult to aim. There's no other variations for it, though. For the light tank, you saw the Howitzer tank, which you saw gameplay from me yesterday about. The other was the Flanker. Didn't see this one, but apparently it was for close range, mainly taking out infantry. For the heavy tank, you also had 2 new options, one of them flamethrowers on the side of the heavy tank, and the other changing the primary for the driver to a more long-range projectile. As for the Landship, we saw briefly a new variation for it at the beginning of Game 4 from the stream. It's able to seat 5 people, and the driver has this gun in the middle on the back there they can switch to. We also confirmed that the flamethrower, the minigun, and the soldier with the helmet, as well as that one-shot anti-tank rifle are battle pickups. They're spread across the map at different objectives, and while very powerful, they're limited on what they can do, and they can't regain health. I know this was a very broad overview and I couldn't give you gameplay for everything, but we had very limited time. I wanted to pull as much information and show you guys all the loadouts though, to give you an overview. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, share it out, and I'll hope to see you soon. This is SwagMountain 64, over and out.